Hello everyone. Actually, in last lecture, we missed one point, that is nothing but the importance of field exploration. Okay. So, for any construction project, whenever you are planning a construction project, we need to have field exploration or we need to have site exploration, because we want to know what are the surface and subsurface properties of a soil. Because depending on this, there will be the certain construction technique that we will adopt. Okay, so what are the various importance? What is the importance of a field exploration? Very first point is the depth of a foundation. Whenever we want to decide what will be the depth of the foundation, we need to have field exploration. Why? Because generally the foundation is laid at a hard strata. Okay, what is the depth of that hard strata? It is essential to know. So as to determine that hard strata depth, what we will do? We will explore the field. The field exploration will be nothing but the having bores on the field at a certain point and determine what is the soil profile along that depth. Okay, so while we get that certain soil profile, we will know where the hard strata is there and we can plan our foundation at that level. So if you want to know what is the depth of the foundation, if you want to decide what will be the depth of our foundation, then we need to have field exploration to determine what is the soil profile. Then after that, safe bearing capacity. So for the design of a foundation, we need to know what is the safe bearing capacity of a soil, because depending on that safe bearing capacity of a soil, you will decide what will be the depth, what will be the depth, okay, what will be the depth, what will be the width of your foundation. And depending on that width of your foundation, the depth of your the width, the size of column will depend. So if you want to go with if you want to start with the design of your whole structure, at the very first step, you need to know what is safe bearing capacity. Then only you can design with the structure, and then after you can go for the construction. So it is important to know what is safe bearing capacity, and for that you should know what is the soil, and for that we need to have a field exploration. Okay, in a certain case, what we do while exploring the field, after knowing the soil, just by identifying the soil, we can have a certain idea or rough estimate of rough imagination, we can say, for an experienced person what will be safe bearing capacity, like that. But for a vast project or for every project, what do? We conduct the lab test for the soil, and we can conduct an in situ test. Okay, on field test we will perform on the soil to determine its property, index properties or engineering properties. So for conduction of the test, you should have a soil, and that soil can be made available that also at a certain level, at a certain depth from your ground level. That soil we have to use for that certain test. So for that we need to have field exploration. After that, probable maximum and differential settlement. Whenever you see a soil profile for a vast project, if you want to investigate the soil profile for 500 meters like that, or 600 meters, for greater length, if you are investing the soil profile, then you will come to know that the soil profile is not same, that soil profile is continuously changing. Okay, some part of your foundation, some part of your structure that may be on hard rock, and some part of your structure that may be on a soft rock. So because of that, both the rocks will possess different properties, and because of that, their settlement characteristic will be different. Some part of a rock may settle more and some part of a rock may settle less. That will cause different settlement in a different part of the structure. Okay, after the construction. So if you know the soil, you can have a probable estimate, or you can determine what will be the settlement of that building or of that structure after a certain duration of say 5 years or 10 years. What will be the probable settlement? You can know that. But if you want to know the probable settlement, you should examine the soil, and for that field exploration plays important role. Then after that, prediction of lateral earth pressure. We construct generally retaining wall whenever we want to save the space. So the retaining wall has a function that it will retain earth or it will retain soil. So what type of a pressure will be there, what kind of a pressure will be there, what magnitude of that pressure that will act on that retaining wall. If you want to determine that, then you know what is the soil, what type of a soil is there, what is water content is there. Okay, so if you want to know this, then you should know what the soil is there. So for that you should have field exploration. Then deciding suitable construction technique. After investigation of a soil profile, you come to know that suppose you come to know that there is a hard strata is available at a very reasonable depth. At a lesser depth you are having hard strata, so you will construct a shallow foundation over there. Okay, but when the hard strata is at a higher depth and you cannot go with the shallow foundation, at least you have to go with the pile foundation, so you will prefer pile foundation. So these are nothing but the construction technique, whether shallow foundation or whether deep foundation, whether well foundation. These are the construction technique, and you want to know what type of a construction technique we can adopt for certain project. Then you should know what is the soil, what type of a soil is there, and where the hard strata is located. So depending on that you will determine whether we will go for shallow foundation or deep foundation. So if you want to decide construction technique, you should have field exploration or site investigation. Then after that, suitability of a soil for construction. If you want to use soil as a construction material, then you should know whether it is suitable for particular construction or not. How you can determine whether it is suitable or not, that you should know what soil is there. Okay, and depending on that soil, you will depending on the index properties, you will have a certain idea of engineering properties, and depending on that you can say whether it is suitable or not. So for that also we will need field exploration to investigate safety of existing structure and remedies. I have given example in yesterday's lecture that suppose a structure is constructed on a black cotton soil, and in a rainy season, because of a water seeping in the foundation, the soil has expanded, and because of the increase in volume, the floor is broken. And if you are invited to solve that existing problem, so then what you will do, you will have to explore there. You should know what the soil is there, and depending on that soil, if it is a black cotton soil, depending on that you will suggest some remedial measures. So if you want to suggest remedial measures, at least you should know what type of a soil is there, or what type of a soil profile is there throughout the structure. So for that we need to have a field exploration. Another aspect is that suppose about the safe bearing capacity. The safe bearing capacity may change depending on the water table. When the water table is higher, the safe bearing capacity of a foundation will less. When the water table is at lower depth, the safe bearing capacity will be more. So during rainy season, what are the changes in the groundwater table? That is also important. If we know that, then we will select the least safe bearing capacity, and as per that we will design the structure. Okay, so whenever we go for field exploration, it is not just about taking boreholes and determine what is the soil profile, but you need to visit nearby area and you have to determine what kind of a profile is there at a nearby site. Again, you have to determine if there is a flood, then up to what level the flood was there. These all things we need to know before starting of this project. So these are the various important points that need to be covered in a soil as a three-phase system. In the last lecture I have already described what is void ratio, what is porosity, and what is their interrelation. So now we will move to the next. The next term is degree of saturation. Okay, that is denoted by symbol SR, or in some books it is denoted by S, and it can vary from 0% to 100%. So what is degree of saturation? Degree of saturation is nothing but the volume of water divided by volume of voids. Means out of voids, how much space is occupied by water. That is shown by degree of saturation. If there is no water, it means that it is dry, so there is only air. So because of that, in that case, degree of saturation will be 0. But when all the voids are occupied by water, then volume of water will be equal to volume of void. So degree of saturation will be 100%. Then after that, the next term is percentage air voids, denoted by symbol Na. And what it shows, percentage air voids is nothing but the ratio of volume of air divided by total volume of a soil. Means out of voids, how much space is occupied by the air, that is only considered here. So that is volume of air, and it varies between 0 to N. N is nothing but the porosity. Why the porosity is there? The definition of porosity is N is equal to volume of voids divided by total volume. But when the soil is totally dry, then the volume of voids will be nothing but equal to volume of air. So that's why percentage air voids will be N when the soil is totally dry. Then after that, the air content. Air content also varies from 0 to 1. It can be 0 or it can be 1. When the soil is fully saturated, then there will be no air, so that's why air content will be 0. But when the soil is fully dry, in that case all the voids are filled with the air, so that's why the air content will be 1. So air content is the ratio of volume of air divided by volume of voids. Means out of voids, how much air is there, that is shown by the air content. When we add degree of saturation and air content both together, that value will be always equal to 1. This is shown here, AC plus AR. AC is air content, SR is degree of saturation. So air content is volume of air by volume of voids, SR is volume of water divided by volume of voids. So numerator is same, and when we add volume of air and volume of water both together, that is nothing but the volume of void. So numerator and denominator is same, so that's why it will become 1. Okay, so these are the terms, various terms that can be derived from the three-phase system, and depending on their interrelationship, we can state whether the soil is dry or whether its soil is intermediate dry or fully saturated. Like that we can predict depending on these relationships. So there exists a certain relation between percentage air voids and air content. So we will derive it. Suppose in A, that is nothing but the percentage air voids, as we know. What is the formula for percentage air void? Is volume of air with respect to total volume. Okay, we will multiply and divide this term by volume of voids. Volume of air multiplied by volume of voids. Okay, so volume of air divided by volume of voids multiplied by volume of voids divided by the total volume. Okay, so volume of air divided by volume of voids is nothing but the air content. Okay, multiplied by volume of voids divided by total volume, that is nothing but the porosity. Okay, so there is a relation between percentage air voids and air content, that is Na is equal to N multiplied by Sc. So this is, we got one equation. Another equation we have is that AC plus SR is equal to 1. Okay, so this equation will always help us whenever we want to solve certain problems. So these two equations are there. Next term is water content. which is shown by symbol W, or water content can be termed as also moisture content. It is nothing but a ratio of mass of water divided by mass of solids. So actually water content is a very deciding factor. The how the soil will behave, that will depend on this water content. It can be expressed in terms of percentage, and it can be also expressed in terms of decimals. Okay, in terms of a fraction we can also express this water content. So in case of a fine grained soil, the water content will be more, but in case of a coarse grained soil, water content will be somewhat lesser. Why it is so? As I have already told you, that in case of a fine grained soil, there will be lesser, there will be small voids will be there, but the number of voids will be more. So water content, the water that can be absorbed by them, or water in that soil will be more as compared to coarse grained soil. And generally the coarse grained soil are permeable, so if the water is there, the water will be quickly drain out. Okay, so whenever we test, we will find out that the water content in a coarse grained soil is somewhat lesser as compared to water content in a fine grained soil. So some of the fine soils are there that shows water content is greater than 100%. It means that 50% or more than that, it means that mass of water is greater than mass of solid. Okay, so this is the just definition, and water content can be expressed in a percentage or it can be expressed in a fraction. But generally whenever we are going to solve the problems, we will express that in a fraction. But whenever we are going to give the final results, then that has to be expressed in terms of a percentage. So this is all about this water content. What is volume mass relationship and what is volume weight relationship? Okay. Volume mass relationship is expressed in terms of density, and volume weight relationship are expressed in terms of unit weight. Okay, so before going deep into this, we have to revise what is mass and what is weight. Okay, so what is mass is nothing but the amount of a matter in a certain body. That is nothing but the mass, and it is having unit kg. Okay, we all know that. After that, what is weight? When a body is acted upon by a force of gravity, then that is weight. Okay, so it is simply given as mass multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. So it is like W is nothing but mass into gravity. Okay, so whenever we say density with respect to volume mass relationship, it is nothing but mass upon volume is density, and it will be having unit of kg per meter cube. Then after that, unit weight. Unit weight is about volume and weight relationship. Okay, and it will be having formula, that is weight per unit volume. Okay, but as we know, weight is nothing but the m into g, that is mass multiplied by force due to acceleration by gravity, that is nothing but g. So W is equal to m multiplied by g divided by the total volume of soil. Okay, but as we know that mass by volume is nothing but density, so that's why it will be rho multiplied by g. Okay, and it will have a unit as weight is nothing but a force, so that's why it will be having mg, that is mass into acceleration, ma. So it is a force, so that's why it will be having unit of kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, so most of the students get confused between the density and unit weight because of the formulas. Generally, whatever the form of a density, whatever be the form of a formula of a density, that same will be in case of a unit weight. Now we will see certain terms with respect to volume mass relationship and volume weight relationship. So So first is bulk mass density. Okay, as we know, density is nothing but mass per unit volume. It will be having unit of kg per meter cube. But when it is said bulk mass density, in case of a soil, on field situation, the soil may be dry, the soil may be saturated, or it may have both water and air. So whatever be the density on a field, okay, after you have gone to the site and you have taken the soil, you have find out the density of it. Okay, so on field, whatever be the density you got, that will be the bulk mass density. Okay, and if with respect to volume weight relationship, that will be bulk unit weight, and it will be having weight having unit kilonewton per meter cube. So this is about the bulk mass density. Is dry mass density. When we say dry mass density, it is shown by the symbol rho d. Okay, this is rho d is equal to ms by v. Ms is nothing but the mass of solids and v is nothing but the volume of soil. When we say mass of solids, it is a mass of solids in a dry condition, and when we say V is the original volume of a soil. Suppose you have taken a soil and you have dried it and you have taken its mass, that will be the mass of only solids. Okay, but when we come to know the volume is at when you have taken in a field, at that time whatever be the volume was there, that it will be. So in this volume, it includes volume occupied by air, volume occupied by water, and volume occupied by solid. The addition of these three constitute this volume. This is not volume of solids only, it is the volume of whole soil. And when we say ms, it is not mass of soil, but it is mass of only solids in a soil. So this is dry mass density. When mass of solids, where the higher value of a dry mass density will indicate that the mass of solid is more in a lesser volume, so it indicates the soil is dense. So to indicate whatever be the denseness of a soil, we will generally use dry mass density term. Then after that, dry unit weight, that is nothing but the weight of solids divided by total volume of soil, that is nothing but the gamma d, and it will be having a unit of kilonewton per meter cube. Then after that, saturated mass density. When the soil is fully saturated, means all the voids in the soils are totally filled with the water. In that case, rho saturated is equal to m saturated. Okay, mass of saturated soil divided by total volume, and it will be having unit of kg per meter cube. And in case of a saturated unit weight, it is gamma saturated, denoted by symbol gamma sat, is equal to weight of a saturated soil divided by V. Okay, total volume of a soil. When we say M saturated is saturated mass of soil, but when we say only MS, it is mass of only solids. So that is the difference. Next, volume mass relationship is submerged mass density. It means that the soil is in a submerged condition. So when the soil is submerged in the water, it will displace certain volume of water, and that will be equal to the volume of a soil. And because of this displacement, water will apply upward pressure or upward thrust on this soil, and because of this, there will be the reduction in mass of soil. Okay, because of this, there will be the reduction in mass of a soil. Okay, so suppose this is the saturated soil, it means that the every void in the soil is filled with the water. Okay, every void is filled with the water. Like this. Okay, so and it is submerged. So water will get displaced. Okay, and upward force or upward pressure will be applied. So as this soil is submerged, saturated, so we can give M saturated, that is the mass of saturated soil, that will be equal to mass of solids plus volume of voids multiplied by rho W. Okay, so saturated mass of a soil will nothing but a mass of solids plus mass of water. As we know, rho is equal to mass divided by volume. Okay, so if we want to find out the mass of water in the voids, then mass of water will be equal to rho W, that is nothing but the density of water multiplied by volume of voids, because in this voids there is only water, there is no air. Okay, so just like this, M saturated is Ms plus volume of voids multiplied by rho W. So now the soil is submerged, so it is acted upon by the uplift force because of the water. Okay, that uplift force will be equal to, it can be shown by the symbol U, and that can be equal to total volume multiplied by rho W, because the displaced water volume will be same as the volume of this saturated soil inclusive of voids. Okay, so the voids are already filled with the water, so V multiplied by rho W, that much of a upward thrust will be applied by water. So now, so what will be the submerged weight or submerged mass of a soil? That will be, suppose we will show it by M dash. Okay, that is nothing but M saturated minus mass of water, isn't it? So I will write here M saturated. Okay, so M dash is equal to M saturated is equal to Ms plus volume of voids multiplied by rho W minus upward pressure, that is nothing but the mass of water, upward pressure like this U. Okay, so M dash, now what is rho? Rho is nothing but the mass upon volume. Okay, rho is equal to mass upon volume, so M dash is Ms plus volume of voids plus rho W, it is nothing but a saturated mass. Okay, there will be the reduction because of this uplift force, uplift pressure because of water, and that is V multiplied by rho W divided by total volume of soil, because we are finding out density. Okay, submerged density of soil, rho dash. So Ms plus Vb multiplied by rho W, this is M saturated. M saturated by V is nothing but the rho saturated, that is saturated density of soil, minus V multiplied by rho W divided by V. So this V and this V will get cancelled, multiplied by rho W, that is nothing but this rho dash. This is submerged mass density. Okay, if we want this same expression in terms of volume weight relationship, it can be written as gamma dash, that is nothing but the submerged unit weight, and that is gamma saturated minus gamma W. Like this we can write it. Okay, so these are the two equations for volume mass relationship and volume weight relationship. Okay, so if we speak in terms of a unit weight, generally the unit weight of a soil will vary from the range of a 15 kilonewton per meter cube to 23 kilonewton per meter cube, and the unit weight of a water is 9.81 kilonewton per meter cube, that is nothing but the 10 kilonewton per meter cube. So when we deduct the unit weight of water from the saturated unit weight of a certain soil, it will reduce by 10. So, and maximum value of a gamma saturated is 23 or 22 like that. So, we can say that roughly that the submerged mass density or submerged unit weight of a soil will be half of the saturated mass density or saturated unit weight. Like this it can be said. So, this is a submerged, this is all about submerged mass density or submerged unit weight. The last volume mass relationship is mass density of solids. It is denoted by symbol rho s, and it is equal to ms by vs. Ms is nothing but the mass of solids only, and vs is nothing but the volume of solids. And that same in case of a unit weight of a solids, but in case of a mass, instead of a mass there will be weight of solids. So, it is shown by symbol gamma s is equal to ws by vs. The only difference when we say mass density of a solids, we should note that in denominator there is a volume of solids. Okay, it is not total volume of a soil, it is only the volume of solids, isn't it? So, if we want to establish a certain relationship between this all of these 5 terms, then we have the 5 terms, that is density of solids, then density of saturated soil, bulk density, dry density and submerged density. So, this is the general tendency that density of solids will be greater than density of saturated soil. That density of a saturated soil will be greater than the bulk density, and the bulk density will be greater than the dry density, and the dry density will be greater than the what we can say submerged density. Okay. So, when we consider rho s, that is nothing but the dry density of a solids, we only consider mass of solids and volume of solids. So, denominator term is reduced, but all of these 3 terms, the volume term is constant. This volume is inclusive of volume of water, volume of solids, volume of air. Okay, so this term is relatively constant, but in case of a volume of solids, it is exclusive of volume of voids. Okay, so the decrease is more. Definitely mass of solids will be the value mass will be reduced, but the decrease in volume of solids is more. So that's why the density of solid is more. Then after, in case of a rho saturated, the volume is constant. It is inclusive of voids, water and soil. And in case of a mass of saturated soil, it is inclusive of mass of water and mass of solids. Okay, if we consider the reduction in mass of solid and reduction in the reduced values of volume of solids and increased value of mass of a soil because of the saturated condition, the relation, a rough relation if we want to establish, then density of a solids will be more than density of a saturated soil. Okay. Right, now for these 3 terms, the rho, that is the bulk density, is at the exactly center. We can easily remember that. That is nothing but the mass upon volume. In case of a dry density, it is mass of solids divided by volume. This volume is total volume. Okay, and this is only mass of solids. Okay, so definitely this term is going to be smaller than this bulk density. And in case of a submerged density, it is reduced to half because it has a formula of rho saturated minus rho w. So this is the general sequence. We need to remember that this rho is at a center. Rho saturated will be more than bulk density, and rho of solids will be more than saturated density of a soil. Okay, this same also follows in case of a unit weight. So these are the points we have to remember. Next part is a specific gravity. Okay, that is nothing but the G. The specific gravity is the ratio of density of a solids to the density of water, which are taken at the 4 degrees centigrade. This is the general definition. But here there are 3 terms, that is the specific gravity of a solids, then mass specific gravity, and then absolute specific gravity. So just like that, 3 terms are there. When we say specific gravity of a solid, it is the ratio of density of a solids to the density of water. But when we calculate the density of a solid, it is the ratio of mass of solids divided by volume of a solid. Okay, but when we consider volume of solid, it is inclusive of impermeable voids in a solids. The solids, okay, may be porous and they have voids inside them. Out of that voids, those voids which are impermeable, okay, that will be considered in this volume of a solids. So, and the general value will be varying from 2.65 to 2.80. Okay. We are generally talking about the volume of solids only. We are not talking about the volume of whole soil. When we say this is volume of a solids, it is only volume of solids, not soil. In case of a soil, it is volume of water, it is volume of air, and it is volume of solids. The addition of these three will constitute volume of total soil. But we are only concerned about volume of solid. That too, we are excluding permeable voids. Then after that, mass specific gravity. It is the ratio of density of soil to the density of water. I have said density of a soil. We are not saying density of solids. So it is mass upon volume. If we consider mass, then that mass will be mass of water, mass of solid, addition of these two. And when we consider the volume, it will be volume of air, it will be volume of water, and it will be volume of solids. These three will add together and then it will form volume, okay, total volume. So that is the definition of mass specific gravity, and it is concerned with soil. This is concerned with the solids. Okay, so this is the difference between these two. Then after that, absolute specific gravity means exact specific gravity of solids. This is the ratio of density of absolute solids and density of water. When we say density of absolute solids, it says it is a ratio of mass of solids to the volume of absolute solids. Means there only solid part will be considered, okay, exclusive of voids. When we consider volume of absolute solid, it will be exclusive of permeable and impermeable voids in a solids. Okay, it will consider only solid part. Okay, it will consider only concrete part of a solids. If there is a air, if there is a void, they will be excluded, whether they are permeable or whether they are impermeable. We have none to do with that. Okay, so this is absolute specific gravity. Generally, these two terms we are not going to use. Okay, normally specific gravity of a solids, this term will be used, preferred in the practice. Now, generally, if we consider these two terms, then the mass specific gravity or appearance specific gravity will be lesser than the specific gravity of a solid. Why it is so? We have to see this numerator and this formula. When we say ms divided by vs, volume of solids, and this volume of a soil, okay, the volume of solids will be much lesser as compared to the total volume of a soil. Okay, so as this value decreases, rho s, that is nothing but the density of a solid, will increase. So this value is going to be greater. So that's why Gm is smaller than Ga. That's why the appearance specific gravity of a soil will be lesser than the specific gravity of a solid. So this is for today. We will see okay. So this is the end of this lecture today. We will see the further part in the next lecture. So this is the end of this lecture today. We will see further part. Okay. So this is the end of this lecture today. We will see further part in the next lecture. Thank you.